Hey everybody, I was going to go over my plan for my property. It's I've been working a lot the last few years and I really haven't had time to do a lot of things. I kind of, I had my property clear cut because there was a bunch of old trees. Trees get to a point where they can only get so big, so I had a lot of stuff clear cut and everything's grown back for the most part, at least enough to where I did my video where went down to the creek to check on it. Not that I thought somebody took it, but it's grown up a lot since then. But I was going to go over my plan I was going to have. I want to get some goats because I think it'd be really kind of cool to have some goats. The thing about goats is that, you can't eat them, but they make really good natural lawnmowers and they help keep back invasive weeds like kudzu and blackberries. I know everybody thinks blackberries, that'd be great, but blackberries grow on thorn bushes. It's not as great as it sounds when those thorn bushes. They are hellacious. It's horrible. So I'd like to get some goats, but the problem with goats is that if you have goats, you pretty much have to fence anything in that you have fenced in with the goats because the goats will eat anything. You have exposed electrical, exposed plastic, your tires on your car sometimes. I mean, you really have to be real thorough with that because they'll chew on just about anything. So I have to be real careful about that. But they will keep everything trimmed down. Another thing I'd like to do is get some chickens because chickens can go through and they can keep a lot of the insects down as far as anything invasive like ticks. I mean, I live out in the woods and I'm a whole lot more concerned with ticks than I am with snakes out here because the snakes for the most part will stay away from you. They don't want a confrontation. They want to stay away. The ticks, on the other hand, they are parasites and are looking to get on you. So that's one thing about that. The chickens will eat that, and you can eat the chickens, or you could have egg-laying chickens. I mean, so many different things you can go with that and benefit from these animals. Another thing I'd like to look into is something called fourth dimensional gardening. And I know what you're thinking, fourth dimensional gardening. What you're going to be messing with time? No, 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 no. All this deals with is having fruit trees and plants that grow at different times of the year and utilizing that so you've always got something that you either can eat or you can preserve. So you've always got something down the pipe as far as something you can eat. So that's always something you can look into. Another thing, um, I'd like to get in some of these ancient plants that people used to focus on that are extremely nutrient dense, but they're not exactly aesthetically pleasing. Comfrey was one. Skrillet, I guess I'm pronouncing that right. It was like a really sugary kind of thing, but it didn't really. It's not as easy to harvest as carrots and potatoes and stuff like that. But basically, it takes the place of all that. Chickweed is something that you normally think of as an invasive weed, but this stuff will bloom under snow. So, I mean, talk about thriving. Then you have duckweed, which you can actually grow aquatically in like a little pond or even an aquarium, and it's extremely nutrient dense. Or nothing else, you can raise that for your feed for your livestock. So there's a lot of things you can do with that as far as eating it and raising it for your livestock. And everybody thinks that, hey, I don't have any property to do this on, but I've got over a dozen acres. But you really don't even need 1 acre to actually do gardening. There are books that tell you how to maximize square footage. Where you can use dozens of square feet rather than acres, and you can grow enough food for your whole family. You could utilize every square footage in your yard like this one family did, and they were growing everything edible. And I was like, oh my gosh, that'd be like a dream come true. You could buy yourself a greenhouse off of eBay or Amazon, and there's so many things that you can do with these things. It really comes down to your imagination. And I know what you're thinking. It's like, well, what are some other things I can do? And you could actually grow your own fish. The great thing about fish is that you could get like a IBC tote, and you could grow certain types of fish, and you could have them. Now, I mean, obviously you need to balance that out because freshwater fish don't have the same omega fatty acid signature that saltwater fish do. So you need to watch that. But you can still get your protein from that fish, and you will have some fatty acids you can use. You can always, get your salt saltfish from somewhere else. But these are just some ideas I had that I was going over about what I'm going to do with my property now that I got some free time, and I'm going to try to document everything I can. Some of the projects will be agricultural based, and some will be tech, stuff. Because I am in the 21st century, so I hope you'll join me with this. And thank you for watching. Subscribe and like.